Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So believe it or not, I've actually had this phone for 2 weeks and I wanted to kind of give you my thoughts on it so far. So starting with just the build quality and design of this device, it's fantastic. Obviously, you know I have the larger variant, the Pixel 4 XL. And there's not controversy, but there's always some question about whether you should get this one or you should get this one. And I feel like both of these are two of the best stock Android devices on the market. But in this video, we're going to be covering the Pixel 4 and referencing the Pixel 4 XL. So again, about 2 weeks later, the differences to me are minimal. This has a 5.7-inch display on the front, and it is 1080p. It's really nice. You do have a little bit of a bezel at the top up there. I have this tempered glass on here, but I also have this wallpaper on here too. I'll get into some things about the build quality in just a second, but you know, you got this 5.7-inch display, and then you know, you've got the matte sides and then the matte back, which is really nice. It's just a really good feeling device in the hand. Build quality wise, I've actually dropped this phone in and out of a case. Now I dropped it, I bought a 3-pack, a true story here. I bought a 3-pack of these tempered glass, a little cheap tempered glass, 3 for $5 on Amazon or whatever it cost. And I dropped it in one time and it shattered. It didn't shatter, but it cracked across the top. So I switched it out, put on my second one, and then I dropped it again when it didn't have a case on it. It fell face down and it kind of cracked on the corners there. So I only have one more tempered glass left that I'm going to put on here, and then that's it. I'm going to probably call it a day. I won't even use the tempered glass after that one breaks, but nonetheless, it protected the display, which is what I want. So the display itself has Gorilla Glass, but you know, it scratches just like anything else. That's going to happen. But as far as build quality goes, I dropped the phone without a case, and it kind of fell on the corner, and I just kind of brushed it off, and it was fine. And then I dropped it with a case on cement. It fell on a hard tile the first 2 times, and it just kind of got like a scuff mark on here on the corner. But then I was able to just brush that off, and I was good to go. But when it fell with the case, it hit pretty hard, but it didn't shatter anything. So that's good. So dropping it in and out of a case, you know, build quality is actually really solid, man. I mean, it's a sturdy feeling phone in the hand, but it's not real heavy or anything like that. So yeah, the build quality to me, you know, it's 100%. It's nice. It's beautiful. The design is beautiful. It's just a good looking phone all the way around. Battery life is something that's always in question with these phones. The Pixel 4 tends to get a bad rap from some people. And what I've noticed about the people who are giving this a bad rap on the battery is that, you know, they're only having it for a couple of days. And so in my first 2 days of having this device, my battery life and screen on time pretty much mirrored what the people were reporting. So it's not that they're wrong, they just didn't give the phone a chance, because some of the comments I've seen are like, I bought it and returned it 2 days later, or I bought it and returned it 4 or 5 days later. Well, right after you returned it, the battery got great. It's about as best I could say it. The battery on this phone is fantastic, man. I mean, it performs well. Let me see where I'm at right now. Real time, I've got 82% left, and it normally lasts me about 28 hours on a single charge, on every single charge. And I'm getting about 5.5 to 6.5 hours of screen on time every time. It's settled in. So the battery life itself, you know, the phone didn't have bad battery life for the first 2 or 3 days. It just was only getting around 5 or less, lasting about 15 hours. So after that, if you saw my other video, it settled in, man. It really, and then I just started getting better and better battery life with usage. And so the 2,800 milliamp hour battery inside of here performs well. I mean, getting a full day out of this phone, and I even have the Zero Lemon battery case, which just doubles the battery life, and then some. This phone is good without a battery. It's on the latest, a battery case is good. It's on the latest operating system. You know, it's running really fast. As far as performance goes, no problems whatsoever. I just don't have an issue with it. It's just nothing. Man. Mark, that sure looks good, by the way. Team Pixel. If you don't know who Mark is, you have to go search for yourself. But yeah, I mean, the battery life on here is just great. And I just really can't believe that people think that the battery life is bad on here. And I just think they're not giving it a chance. This has a Snapdragon 855 inside, 6 gigs of RAM. There's a 64 gig and 128 gig model of both of these. You've got an 8 megapixel on the front right there. And on the rear, you've got the 12 megapixels, I believe. 16 megapixel on the rear. Then you've got that zoom lens, that telephoto lens. 1080p, 60 frames per second, 4K, 30 frames per second. I mean, what more do you want? I would like 4K at 60 frames per second. That would be great, you know, but I don't have it, so what can I do? But yeah, performance, cameras, battery. Let's touch on the cameras for a second, because a lot of people are feeling like the Galaxy S20 is coming out and it's just going to smash this phone and it's just going to kill these cameras. Well, I'm standing true to what I'm saying. I haven't used the Galaxy S20 yet, but every phone that comes out immediately starts to get matched up against the Pixel devices. And the reason it happens is because these cameras are fantastic. Since the Pixel 3 going forward, the cameras have been unmatched to me for still shots and portraits and things like that. That's just personal preference and personal opinion. You know, you give your own personal opinion on what you think is good and great, but I like to just post the photos. Now, if you just come into my channel, I post a lot of portrait photos when I do take photos. Normally, I'm taking a photo with the Pixel 3 XL, the Pixel 4 XL, or the Pixel 4 for thumbnails. Even the thumbnail for this video was taken probably with this phone. So, you know, it's a matter of, it's totally subjective, but, you know, you got to keep it 100, man. The Pixel devices have some of the best cameras ever. I mean, they are not slacking in any kind of way. People say, oh, it's too smooth on the edges and all these different things, and that is definitely personal preference. So it's up to you to decide whether or not you like the photos that come from the Pixel or not. But from where I sit, it's fantastic. Now, this phone has stereo speakers, and they are loud, man. I mean, I've demoed them before. They're really loud. I don't need to get into that, but it has definitely got a great set of speakers, and I don't think that you'll be upset about that at all. And as far as microphones go, it's got 3 microphones on here, and I started to do these little semi-sessions on, you know, shot on Pixel, because people were saying the video was bad, it's not very good. All cameras need the right amount of lighting or the right setting for lighting, and it can produce some of the best footage. And I've shot so many videos on this phone for both of my YouTube channels, and you guys say they're great, and sometimes, especially on my other channel, you didn't even know it was coming from the Pixel 4. So it's a good thing. This phone is guaranteed by Google for 3 years of software updates. You know, it says a minimum of 3 years. So that doesn't mean that 3 years is going to cut off and stop giving you updates. What's going to happen is, you know, at 3 years, maybe if something really strong is dominating the market, maybe or depending on how the sales are for this device, there's a number of things that goes into updating a device every year. So right now, I believe this phone is selling pretty well. You know, I mean, I think a lot of people love it. There's a lot of people out there that really enjoy this device. Day-to-day tasks, everything about the phone, to me, of the two, yeah, this one has much better battery. It has a Quad HD display. You know, it's a little bigger, but it's ultimately the same phone. And if you want a small version of this, you have it right here. That's just what it is. So I had to give you a follow-up on this phone, man, after using it straight through for some time. I got to change out this tempered glass for the last time. Tired of changing it out. I don't like cracks or anything because it'll start to get snagged. But nonetheless, man, the Pixel 4, all smartphones today are subjective in what you think might be good or bad. It's up to you to decide what you think is the perfect smartphone. But to me, there is no perfect smartphone because everybody is different. That's just like saying we're all the same, and it just can't be like that. You're gonna have to decide what you think is the best phone for you. And right now, when it comes to stock Android, you know, even though I have some of the best phones for stock Android, this is another one of my favorites, the OnePlus 7T. I still just prefer Google, you know, for stock Android. It's nothing extras and all these other things. And plus, right now, Google is definitely getting more options from they're doing things that other phones have had for some time. So one thing that people might not know about this is the call screening is good, call quality is good. What else? The speaker volume when you do a speakerphone is really good. Things like that are really important. I like call screening. There's a call screening option on here. The voice recorder is really nice, man. If you go into here, this is how I run my website pretty much. I go into this voice recorder and I will talk out, you know what I'm saying, what I'm going to say. Then I hit the transcribe and copy and cut and paste it to the website, and then I edit from there. So there's so much to like about this phone. It's very simple. I remember at the Google event where they were, using that the entire time for the transcript, and they didn't tell us until after they talked about it. I thought that was the best thing ever. So if you ever want to write out a long email or something like that and you don't want to type it, you can use that. Or if you run a website like I do, you can go ahead and use the voice record app. It's totally useful to me. So, there it is. It's your man Jay. 2 weeks straight with this device, man. It's been fantastic. It's phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? I have no complaints, really. The weakest part of this phone is what? I don't know. No ultra wide lens, I guess. I don't know. No headphone jack for sure. And another weak point in here, as I pointed out before, is the memory options. There's only 2 memory options, just 64 and 128. And then obviously the price is always going to be a weak factor for nearly every phone on the market that's above $400, because there are a ton of phones out there that cost less than $400 that offer more than this or about the same. So it's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next video. Team Pixel, where you at? Stand up in the comments. I'll see you later.